With the introduction of Voruna on Arcane Blessing, Lua's pre-update did shake Warframe's meta a lot, and gave players a new perspective on how to give their frames the option to be tanky without losing power. Casual play is now tankier than ever, relying on shield gating is no longer necessary, and you can just have a good time doing your daily game session without sweating every time you cross a Blitz or Shock Eximus. The Khora build I'm presenting you today is as powerful as before, but 10 times and even 100 times tankier for some cases. You're going to be unstoppable for any Warframe content and granted of infinite energy health sustain. If we look at the EHP values on our calculator, the shield gating version of Khora had 1156 health effectiveness. And this was the version of Khora people have been using before Voruna's Helminth subsume ability. The build I'm going to present you today have a minimum of 10,744 effective health and can go up to 107,438 effective health if you use adaptation, without losing any damage. I'm going to take my 2022 Khora build as a base and show you which mods I swapped to make my Lycaphant Khora build work. Before replacing mods, let's make sure you understand that accumulating Whipclaw is necessary if you want to do damage with your first ability. Make sure to keep it in case you want to tweak my final build. We want to subsume Lycaphant instead of Venary's ability, as we don't need it for tankiness anymore, neither the health regeneration nor the cheat def it provides utilizing its augment is relevant with our new build. If you want, there is a little trick modding Shock Collar on Venary and upgrading Stretch with Archon Stretch on Khora to give you a bit of energy sustain, as Venary will proc the Archon mod bonus while applying shock statuses on enemies. As Lycaphant will provide infinite health and energy orbs, we don't have to use the Prime Flow Arcane Energize combo anymore, and we can use a single mod for our energy sustain instead, Equilibrium. We now have an open Arcane slot, and I decided to go for a little bit more tankiness utilizing Arcane Blessing as we are farming Elf Orbs. Finally, Streamline is not needed anymore as we over-sustain energy. We are going to mod Elf Conversion instead, as it's going to give us a permanent 85% damage reduction. If you run this build, you shouldn't struggle with any content in the game, but if you don't like Rolling Ward, you can replace it with Adaptation for even more tankiness. If you want to sustain your Lycaphant comfortably, I suggest using this Epitaph build. You're going to have an easy time applying 5 or more statuses on enemies to sustain the ability. If you don't kill enemies with 5 or more statuses applied on them, you will see Lycaphant run out and will have to recast it every 30 seconds. It's not a big deal, but I still prefer to sustain it, and there is the option for it. Finally, as a stat stick, there is 2 options you can go for. If you want to farm with a Necros or go for an endurance run, you should play this Slash build, and if you want to see big crits on Delete Acolytes, this is the corrosive build I recommend. Finally, if you have a Riven, just replace Spoiled Strike. You want a Riven with critical chance, critical damage or melee damage. Subscribe.